Watching a horror movie or reading a horror book can sometimes haunt us for a long, long time. But we're comforted since it's fiction. And you may have heard some blood-curdling legends that are scary enough to hit you with a jump scare. But you are still feeling a dose of skepticism when it comes to whether the story is real or not. Well, sometimes these stories are proved to be true. From a mysterious network of tunnels, from the story of the Alice killings. Here we've made a list with 12 terrifying urban legends that turned out to be true. Number 12. Le Loyon. Boy, do we start this list with a terrifying figure. You may have heard about Le Loyon since its name was all over the internet for a long time. Stories about this person have been told in the woods of Mals in western Switzerland for at least 2 decades. How would you recognize this person, you may ask? Well, this woman or a man has a style of its own, covering itself with a military uniform and a thick cloak, including a gas mask hiding its face. Scary as hell. This person is walking with the same path every freaking day. A photographer named Le Marin got a picture of this person back in 2013. He measured over 1.90 meters. He stared at me, then turned his back on me and left in silence, Le Marin said. Even though this person looks so scary, he or she has never displayed any signs of aggression. Number 11. Bunnyman Bridge. Here's a place you probably would not want to visit. It's under a bridge on Colchester Road in Fairfax County. People that live in this area have heard many stories about the haunted bridge. It all started back in 1904, when there was an asylum not far from this bridge that got shut down. After that, all the patients were taken to Lorton Prison. The bus that was driving them crashed and one patient went missing. One Halloween, a few years later, a group of kids were walking around the bridge, and they reported seeing some sort of bright light or orb, the journalist Matt Blitt states, and then in a flash, they'd all been strung up like bunnies, gutted and hanging from this bridge. People were skeptical about this story until 1990, until someone appeared very quickly, yelled something having to do with trespassing, and threw a hatchet at the car, the archivist Colony said. Number 10. Charlie No Face. Let's go back in 1919 to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. When in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, the 8-year-old boy, Ray Robinson, was walking together with his sister and he noticed a bird's nest. So he climbed up to get a closer look. Unfortunately, he touched a wire that had once powered the trolley. This story gets weirder. 1 year earlier, another boy accidentally touched the same wire and died. But Roy survived. And this is how it all started. Roy's face was deformed. His nose, lips, ears, and eyes were all gone. Back then, Roy was kept in an isolated room with drains and plumbing. So he started walking the local highways, alone and at night. People would beat him up. They would urinate into beer bottles, then give it to him. Sometimes people would pick him up, drive him to the middle of nowhere, and toss him out of the car, said Tisha York, a famous documentarian. Number 9. Rats in your toilet? Do you guys ever go to the bathroom at night and do your job quickly because who knows what might come crawling out of the toilet bowl? Well, we hate to be the bearer of bad news, but rats coming out of the toilet bowl is a true story. Many people throughout the years have reported that they have experienced toilets combined with a rat's strong survival instinct and ability to come through their toilet bowl. Rats run far and deep in tight areas such as sewers, pipes, and vent stacks in exploration for food and safety. Often, this journey leads them into a toilet bowl. What a nightmare. Have you guys ever found a rat in your toilet? Don't forget to tell us about it in the comments section below. Number 8. Body under your bed. Monsters under your bed, or as some say it, a body under your bed, turned out to be real. Some people have experienced a really weird smell when they stayed in a hotel back in 1999. Well, it all started in 1982, then again in 1987, 1988, twice in 1989, twice in 1994, 1996, 1999, 2003, and 2010. So what happened? All these years, the guests complained about a really bad smell in their hotel room. The reason? Discovery of a dead body. The first victim was Gary Smith, poisoned and strangled. Next, left under the bed in a New Jersey motel room. Then, the two bodies found in 1989 were killed by the same man, Jerry Lee Dunbar. Number 7. Dr. Glenn Tucker. Let's get to know who Dr. Glenn Tucker is. He was a successful surgeon who lived in America. To be more precise, he didn't kill his patients, but throughout his 10-year career as a surgeon, he began torturing and deforming patients. He operated on Jan Lehman's broken nose. Then he took her in an empty room and he brutally tore out the stitches he had given her. Later, he faked his own death to escape the lawsuit brought by Lehman and other patients. Years later, in an interview, Tucker said, "If I get driven too far into a corner, if it got to the point where life was no longer worth living, then I would not want to go alone." And after that, guys, he killed his wife, his kids, his cat, and he killed himself in 2011. Number 6. The Puebla Tunnels. Mexican cities have many legends about hidden tunnels lying just under the streets. Puebla tunnels were just a story grandparents used to tell their grandchildren, and the case with Puebla tunnels has been confirmed to be true. The discovery made people believe that somebody used the tunnels for secret travel. Toys, marbles, old kitchen stuff, a lot of guns, bullets, and gunpowder were discovered trapped in the mud in the tunnel. The underground tunnel dates back to 1531, but wasn't discovered and presented to the people until 2016. Would you guys ever visit this place? Number 5. Cropsey of Staten Island. Cropsey the movie may have haunted us in our nightmares. Well, Andre Rand haunted people in real life. Once, this story was, well, just a story. Kids were scared just by listening to the story about the man that haunted children. But in 1980, the children of Staten Island had a reason to fear their local killer. Cropsey had come to life. The children, the victims of his violent behavior, were sexually abused and beaten. Andre Rand has been connected to many child disappearances in the 1970s. Rand is currently in prison, and to this day, he still refuses to tell the locations of some of the missing children. Number 4. Cooked boyfriend. A woman's place is in the kitchen, is what we're used to hearing. Well, that's certainly not the case with the Australian woman Catherine Knight. She became the first Australian to get a life sentence without parole. The reason? She killed, then cooked her boyfriend, John Price. Most relationships fights end up with an apology or maybe a breakup. Not for Catherine and John, though. She stabbed her partner 37 times, beheaded him, skinned him, and prepared parts of him and intended to serve it to his children. She was escorted to prison with a file that said never to be released. Number 3. The POLYBIUS. People love video games because of the various forms of entertainment it offers. Now, for those of you who haven't heard about POLYBIUS, it is a game that was released in 1981 in arcades around Portland. It contained a black box with no name that included geometric designs and interesting shapes. The game was weirdly addictive, hypnotic, and sometimes dangerous. It was rumored that the machine's cabinet was painted only black and that stern-looking men would sometimes visit the arcades to get information from the machine. 2 teenagers disappeared after playing it. It is believed that this game was a top-secret government project for a psychological experiment. Number 2. The Alice Killings. Japan is a country known for the most intriguing urban legends, and the Alice Killings is still the most bizarre case that ever occurred in Japan. It all started in 1999 when the man named Alfredo Galan Sotillo became known as the playing card killer. The name came after he killed 6 people and injured 3 in 2003. The disturbing thing is that he left playing cards on the bodies of his victims. Every child victim had a half card of a heart of aces in his hand with the word Alice written in the victim's blood. Alfredo is now serving 142 years in prison for his crimes. Number 1. CAPGRAS delusion. We often say that people change. He or she is like a whole other person. Well, guys, some people really think that the people around have been replaced by exact copies, and they strongly believe it. This rare psychological condition is called CAPGRAS delusion. The story about this condition got real when the only woman who suffered from it believed that her brother, over whom she had custody, was replaced with another person. Nolan's gone. Charlie, that's someone else. I don't know who he is, but it's not him. I'm so sorry, she told her husband. Well, there you go, guys. We end our list here. Have you ever stumbled upon some even scarier urban legends that turned out to be true? Let us know in the comment section below. We hope you enjoyed watching the video. Make sure you like it, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more amazing videos such as this.